Hey gardeners, how you doing today? It's Mila, and we are here with our next installment of our COVID Victory Garden. I'm sorry I haven't posted in a few days. I have been super busy with work. I know some of you are not so busy these days because of layoffs and that kind of thing, and I'm sorry to hear that. I, on the other hand, have been doing double the work because I work with a lot of farms. I walk my dog, and I also work with a lot of people trying to give education. Oh, okay. Dog's getting restless. So, I've been up to my ears with classes and with all sorts of like summits and meetings. I kind of live on Zoom these days. But I want to spend a little time working on gardening, both my own garden, but I also want to use my own garden to help show you what to do. So, the last time we talked about how to start some seeds indoors for later. So, I'm going to keep referring back to this list. It's things that you want to plant now and things that you want to save for later. And the reason that we have these now and later groups is that the now groups are things that are okay growing in cooler weather. So it's still pretty chilly out. It's like, maybe a high of 57 or something like that today. And it still gets chilly at night. So all of these things, your peas, your greens, and a bunch of your root crops are totally fine with that weather. Things like green beans, zucchini, tomatoes, squash, like summer squashes, potatoes, peppers, eggplant, cucumbers. Those things do not like cold weather. They really are kind of semi-tropical and they really love the warmth. So the only way we can get them to grow really vigorously here in the north is we cheat. We basically pretend that inside our house is the outside world, and we tell lies to our little seeds saying, no, 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 really, it's 68 degrees. You can start growing. So that's why we start seeds indoors. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a calculus lesson because some of what we do is, we grow plants because we want to eat stuff, but how do you know how much to eat? Well, it kind of looks like this. This very, very messy calculus that I did. So I'll show you. What we did is to figure out what to grow, we start out with what we eat. Now, I hope you remember that we did that little Venn diagram of what we love and what's easy to grow. So this is now the what we eat list. So for instance, what I did is I said, in a typical week, if I have to go grocery shopping, what do I usually buy and what do we eat? There are no marshmallow trees in this. There's a marshmallow plant, but I don't suggest trying to plant fluffy marshmallows in your ground and hope that a marshmallow plant comes out. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, our typical weekly eating. We're going to eat about 1.5 pounds of spinach. We're going to eat 1 head romaine plus other, meaning like my daughter loves romaine and I like all those kind of blends, so we do a little bit of each. Let's see. We'll eat 1 bunch of kale. We'll have about 1 quart tomato sauce. We'll eat maybe 4 zucchini because we eat that a lot. I can kind of put it in everything. We definitely eat like probably 4 onions, 2 heads of garlic. We probably have about probably 2 to 4 peppers. Fresh raw peppers, we eat them with hummus and stuff like that. And potatoes. So I'm going to say 3 pounds potatoes. And of course, there's more than that. But that's a good start. So if that's what I want to eat in a week, I've got to figure out my growing season and how much I can grow for us to eat and how much I need to kind of can or save in some other way. So if I want to have 1.5 pounds spinach per week, for the 18 weeks of kind of my growing season, that means that I'm probably going to grow about I'd say probably about 6 plants per week. For the lettuces, it's going to be a little bit less than that. So let's say it's going to be 4 plants per week. I'm just assuming that I can freeze some of this too, of the spinach. For the kale, I'm going to say 2 per week. For the tomatoes, so 3 pounds of tomatoes equals about 1 quart of tomato sauce. So that means if I'm going to be able to put away enough for a quart of sauce of tomatoes per week, I'm going to have to grow, get this, 156 pounds of tomatoes over the course of the season. So if I'm lucky, I'm probably going to supplement, really. I'm going to go out and buy some stuff. But if I'm lucky, I'm going to get like 6 to 8 pounds of Roma tomatoes off of a tomato plant. So this is the Roma tomatoes, meaning like the ones that are made for sauce. So I'm going to look at growing like maybe 16 to 20 Romas. And then I'm going to have some cherry tomatoes because, and those I'm not going to worry about saving. I'm just going to eat those when they're out here and good. So maybe 4 cherry. And I'm going to want slicing tomatoes because there's really like nothing better. I all summer long, I could probably completely survive just eating like, tomato bread cheese sandwiches. So I'm going to want like probably 6 slicing. If I'm going to have 4 zucchini per week, 1 zucchini plant puts out a lot of zucchinis. You're going to get at least like a dozen off of like a healthy zucchini plant. So 1 plant feeds me for 3 weeks, basically, according to this calculus. And if I want to be fed for most of my year, so let's say half my year, I'm going to say like 30 weeks, that's 10 plants. For onions, well, 4 onions a week, that's really easy. Every time you get an onion set, and I would really suggest that you grow onions from what's called sets as opposed to seed. Seed takes a really long time, and we would have had to put that in like 2 months ago and started indoors for it to work. So I usually buy onion sets. So I'll buy 200 onion sets for a whole year's worth. And 2 heads of garlic a week. We love garlic. We eat it a lot. Again, that's 100 little garlic things, little cloves that you're going to plant in the ground. We're not even going to worry about that till fall. So in fall, we're going to put in 100 of those. For peppers, I'm really only going to worry about the peppers growing that I'm going to eat fresh the way I'm talking about the slicing tomatoes. So I'm going to say maybe 8 pepper plants. And potatoes, we'll deal with potatoes later. Right now I'm going to focus on the things that we can start from seeds. So this is kind of how I figured out what we eat and what I'm going to grow because of that. So we're going to go ahead and get started with planting these. So right now, let's go back to this list over here. We're talking about the things that we're going to be growing indoors for later. So I've already started my peppers. Today I'm going to start tomatoes. And in a couple weeks I'm probably going to start some zucchini and some cucumbers. And then I'm going to worry about things like beans and what else? And some of my squash so I can direct seed them once it gets warmer. But for now, that's how I figure out what to grow for my family every year. If you have any questions, go ahead and type them in. I'm happy to answer, and I'll hopefully be back soon with some more videos for you. Thanks. Bye.